everyone, this is your OG, and this is another Godforge video. Today we will be looking at the top 5 possible heroes for the Ekur faction, which includes Mesopotamian, Sumerian, Babylonian, and Assyrian mythos all into one. Lots to work with here. I'm excited to share what we have for you. Be sure to watch all the way to the end to see the boss suggestions, the honorable mentions, and an underworld duo you don't want to miss. Without further ado, let's optimize. All right, so as we always do, we are going to start off with our givens. These are figures in the mythology that I just think it's safe to say that they'll probably be in the game in some way. They're just too important to the mythos to pretty much be left out. So, starting off, Anu and Kai. This is from the Sumerian mythos. Anu was the sky god and Kai was the earth god, and so their child Enel separated heaven and earth, and that's what created life. So Anu is the ruler of the celestial realm. He's shown with a crown, and he's associated with bulls and strength. And he is one half of the primordial pairing, along with Kai, meaning earth, and they produced their son, Enel, who basically separated heaven and earth and created life. Anu was called the king of the gods, and he maintained cosmic order and decreed fates in the divine assembly called the Anukai. Now later, Marduk would gain prominence, and he would relegate Anu to a little bit lower level in the pantheon, but I'm pretty sure Anu and Kai are just too big to leave out, so we are expecting to see them. And then there's one other given that I think we can mention here, and that's Enki. Also, you see him referred to as Ea, not sure, but I'll call him Enki because I think it's easier. He's the god of wisdom, fresh water, magic, and creation, considered to be the protector of humanity. He helped save folks from the Enlil's flood. So we'll see some of the sort of like a Noah character down the list here, but he helped to warn humans. He stole divine decrees of civilization for humanity, so he's kind of like a Prometheus type, and he went out and he stole wisdom for humanity. So these are what we're going to call givens, and then we will move on to our number 1, and that is Ashure. It's an Assyrian national god and a god of war. Seen with a golden winged disc and an arch. He was an archer. He largely replaced Enlil and then Marduk as Assyrian conquest was at its highest. So you'll see that a lot of times in this mythos, depending on how strong the countries were, their national gods became sort of the primary gods as they were in power, and as their empires waned, then the next god would replace them from the next country that would come up. So he was depicted as a warrior sitting atop a mythical beast with a bow and arrow in hand. Obviously, I think Ashure could be a really neat addition to Godforge. Definitely probably an epic or a legendary in the Ekur faction. All right. Now we will go to the number 2, and that is a rare with flair, Atrahasis. This is from the Akkadian or Babylonian mythos. He is the main character or the hero from the Great Flood, sort of the Noah, the precursor to Noah. He was warned by Enki to build an ark, and he was granted immortality. His name means exceedingly wise, and like I said, he was the original Noah figure who was obedient and pious, while those around him were not. He was chosen, therefore, to be the survivor responsible for carrying on the human race after the flood. So then we have, that's our rare with flair. Then we have our first boss possibility, and that is Enlil himself. From the Akkadian and Sumerian mythos, Enlil was the god of wind, storms, and earth. He was the king of gods in Sumerian theology. His breath symbolized both life-giving air and apocalyptic force. He weaponized storms to enforce divine will. He governs the fates of both gods and heroes. He's married to Ninlil, the grain goddess, and they had children, Nana Sin, or is the moon god. We might see her later on. Nergal is the co-ruler of the underworld. We may see him a little later on. And Ninazu is a healer god. So perhaps these ones could be waves leading up to this boss. Because Enlil created humans from clay and the blood of the slain god Geshtui, which is like intelligence. And he did that to replace divine labor. So it looks like he created humans as a labor force. He brought about the great flood because the noise of the humans disturbed his rest. It became so loud that it disturbed his rest. He started it with plagues and famine, and finally with a great flood. So as a boss, maybe he could put out his own debuff, like Drowned, which would be like an AoE attack that washes off all the buffs on your team or locks out abilities or something like that. Or is like cooldown affected. His battlefield environment could be the Ekur Temple, which was the seat of his power. He had a divine scepter, and sometimes he would be seen with a dragon named Mushushu. He was banished to the underworld temporarily for violating divine law, so perhaps that could play into the boss fight as well. I don't know. What do you think? Leave some comments below if you have some interesting ideas on how this boss could work. One last note that makes him unique: he rarely interacted directly with humans, mostly using intermediaries instead. This could be brought into his boss mechanic as well. So this is our boss possibility for the Ekur faction. Next one up, number 3 is Naboo. Is the Mesopotamian god of wisdom, writing, and he was a divine scribe. His name means to announce. He's the son of Marduk. He invented writing and preserved divine knowledge, including inscribing human fates on the tablet of destiny. Replaced an earlier Sumerian goddess named Nisaba and gained prominence under King Hammurabi. He was also tied to crops and renewal, so maybe he could be an invoker. He would announce destinies and was associated favorably with the moon god Sin. Babylonian rulers would often include his name in theirs, such as Nebuchadnezzar and Nabonidus. He would typically be associated with a wedge-top scepter, and it was considered to be associated with him as like the rulers would carry that around, and that was their right to rule because of Naboo. He's similar to Thoth from Egyptian mythos, or Hermes or Apollo from Greek mythology. But that is Naboo, and I think he could be a really interesting epic or even rare in the game. Next up is Nana/Sin. So why two names? Well, Nana is the Sumerian name, and Sin is the Akkadian name for the moon deity, male moon deity, that they both associated to the same one. This individual was linked to timekeeping, so maybe he has turn meter effects, seasonal cycles, and the ebb and flow of rivers. Commonly associated with the bull and the crescent moon, he is depicted as an old man with a lapis lazuli beard, wearing crowned horn topped by a crescent moon. Symbols include the bull and a lunar barge for nightly sky journeys. During one period of history, he also determined souls' fates in the afterlife, as he was linked with wisdom, kingship, and divine justice. He is the son of Enlil, who we saw in the boss possibility, and was born in the underworld after Enlil was banished there. He's also the father of Shamash, who we've already seen in the game, Ishtar, who we've already seen in the game, and Eresh Kagal, the underworld queen, who may be coming up later in this list. Lastly, Nabonidus, one of the rulers of Mesopotamia, elevated Sin, or Nana, above Marduk at one point, a move that alienated Babylonian clergy during his rule. It's possible also that Mount Sinai derives its name from this god as well. So that is our number 4. We're calling it Judge, Jury, and Afterlife. Nana/Sin is our number 4. Then we have our honorable mentions, and we have Anzu. From the Akkadian mythology, this is a divine storm bird or eagle, basically the personification of chaos, a thief who stole the Tablet of Destinies from Enlil, but was defeated by either Ninurta or Marduk, depending on which epic or books you read. He is the son of Sirius, and depicted as a lion-headed eagle with massive wings that could cause sandstorms and thunder from his lion roar. He's also seen later as a more griffin-like figure symbolizing dominion over both air and earth, and he's often seen as a catalyst for cosmic chaos. So that is our first honorable mention, Anzu. Our second honorable mention is Adapa. Adapa is a sage who was cursed by Enki for breaking the south wind's wings and was refused immortality because of trickery that basically embodies human limits to divine wisdom. So Adapa served as a high priest of Enki, and it's also considered that he might have been the ruler of Eridu after the Great Flood. Now, while he was fishing for temple offerings, his boat capsized when the south wind blew violently, and in retaliation, he broke the wind's wings, halting its flow for 7 days and symbolizing a disruption of natural order. He was then summoned to heaven by Anu for punishment. Enki warned Adapa to wear mourning garments to gain sympathy and to refuse all food and water offered by Anu, as he believed it would be poisoned. In a twist of fate, Anu was impressed by Adapa's wisdom and offered the bread of life and water of life to make him immortal. But Adapa obeyed Enki and then declared, "What ill have I brought upon mankind?" as he condemned humans to suffer disease and mortality. This is our second honorable mention, Adapa. All right. Then we have Nergal. Nergal is... Oh, I take it back. We have Ereshkigal and then Nergal. So we have two here together. This is our number 5, Ereshkigal and Nergal. Ereshkigal on the left there is the Mesopotamian queen who rules the underworld. The underworld is called Urkala in this Mesopotamian mythos. She is on a throne with lions around her. She was the sole judge of the dead for a long time, ensuring that souls remained trapped, and she enforced cosmic law. She also controlled the water of life, which was capable of resurrection, so we absolutely may have a reviver type hero here. She is the daughter of Anu and Kai and siblings with Ishtar. So it looks like she'd be a legendary in that realm in the pantheon. She's known to consort with Gug Alana, the bull of heaven, Ninazu, her child known for healing, and Nergal, as you see on the right there, the god of war and plague, who became a co-ruler of the underworld later. In the mythos, Inanna descends into the underworld to attend Gugliana's funeral, the bull of heaven. But Ereshkigal suspects treachery, so she forces her to surrender 7 sacred items, like a crown, rod, jewels, at each gate, stripping her of her power. The Anunnaki underworld judges condemn Inanna for causing Gugliana's, the bull of heaven's, death. Ereshkigal fastened the eye of death upon her, turning Inanna into a corpse hung on a hook. But she was revived by demons sent by Enki, and using the water of life, she escapes by sacrificing her husband, Dumuzi, as her replacement. Poor guy. Ereshkigal is depicted as a winged female figure with talon-like feet standing around lions and flanked by owls. She wears a horn crown and holds a rod and a ring showing her divine authority. And then Nergal, as you can see, the co-ruler of the underworld, the god of plague, war, he carries a lion-headed mace and a scimitar. His name means Lord of the Big City, which means underworld. He controlled demons who spread disease and famine, and he lived in a place called Ganzir, which featured 7 gates guarded by demons. All right, so that's our number 5, Nergal and Ereshkigal. Which would you, if you had to choose one to be in over the other, which would you choose? Let us know in the comments below. All right. That, folks, is about it for us. We're going to wrap it up with this faction, and that is the last of the 9 factions. So what did you think of our top 5 possibles for all the factions? What did you think about our rares with flares, our boss possibilities, our honorable mentions? Let us know in the comments below. Did we miss anyone you were hoping to see? Did you like the ones we put together? Let us know. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all those things that get us into that YouTube good book of karma that we're trying to. So thanks for sticking with me all the way through this one. Be sure to take care of yourself, and remember, play smarter.